Could there be a turning point on the horizon in the long-standing Israel-Hamas conflict? This question has been thrust into the international spotlight following a high-stakes meeting between U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In an effort to comprehend the potential implications of this meeting, it's necessary to first journey back in time. Let's rewind to the beginning of 2023, when a subtle shift in Israel's foreign policy began to emerge. Netanyahu, known for his close ties with Russian President Vladimir Putin, started to distance himself from the Kremlin. This was a significant move, considering Israel's historical neutrality in conflicts involving Russia. The change in policy was likely influenced by several factors, including the desire to improve relations with the Biden administration. Scene script. Fast forward to May 2024, with the Israeli political landscape in a state of flux. The country had been grappling with a political stalemate, with Netanyahu's Likud party unable to gain significant support despite the ongoing conflict with Hamas. Amidst this backdrop, the conflict with Hamas escalated, leading to a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Enter Antony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State. Blinken arrived in Israel with a clear mandate to push for a ceasefire agreement with Hamas and address the mounting humanitarian crisis. The U.S. has been heavily involved in negotiations involving Egypt, Qatar, Hamas, and Israel, with a proposed framework calling for the release of hostages held by Hamas in exchange for a pause in hostilities. Throughout these discussions, Blinken has been vocal about the need for Israel to take immediate action to address the humanitarian situation in Gaza. At the same time, the U.S. has been cautious about the possibility of a large-scale military operation in Rafah, a city in the southern Gaza Strip. Netanyahu had threatened such an offensive, but U.S. officials did not believe it was imminent. It's worth noting that Blinken's approach to the Israel-Hamas conflict has been consistent. He has condemned Hamas attacks on Israel, expressed unwavering support for Israel's right to self-defense, called for Palestinian self-determination, and advocated for military aid to Israel. Moreover, he has endorsed a two-state solution, emphasized the protection of Palestinian civilians, and warned against a ceasefire that would benefit Hamas. In conclusion, the recent meeting between Blinken and Netanyahu could be a significant turning point in the Israel-Hamas conflict. The U.S. is pushing for a ceasefire agreement, the release of hostages held by Hamas, and urgent action to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. However, the situation remains fluid, with the threat of a large-scale military operation in Rafah still looming. As the world watches closely, the hope is that these diplomatic efforts will bring about a lasting resolution to this protracted conflict. Source: CNN.